How to respect yourself more. So here are a few things that you can do in order to start respecting yourself more and have a life with more boundaries, a more steady life. And this is important, I think, especially this is important for everyone. But if you are having social anxiety right now, those are tips that could help you, I think. So there's lots of stuff, but learning how to say no is very important, even when it hurts. And when you have social anxiety, and like saying no sometimes hurts very bad because you think that all hell will break loose if you say this. But what I've noticed is when you say people no, when you say what you want, when you state what you want, and when you express like really clear limits, and when you express your boundaries, then people mostly react in a positive way. They don't react negatively to that, because I don't know why, but I think that actually people kind of react negatively when we're like um, going into their territory. But if you're staying in your own territory and you're just saying, like, I mean, it's your right to say no. This is like your most basic right to say no, and to just like do things whenever, like when you want it. And so I always thought that by expressing more my feelings and really expressing it when I didn't want to do something, that my friends, for example, would be angry at me, or that people would get angry at me. But when you're really straightforward and honest with people without being aggressive, and just like knowing that it is your most important right to do it, then nothing happens. People are really normally positive about that. Um, so how to say no, how to express, how to say no, like saying no, expressing your boundaries and your limits. Um, Forgive yourself for being flawed if you want to respect yourself more, because we all have a lot of flaws. And if you beat yourself up every time you fuck up, it's like it's counter productive. I mean, you're fucking up, so this already has bad consequences. And if you think like that you're a bad person because of that, then it's even worse. And this happens to me a lot, like when I make a plan and I don't follow it, and then I feel bad about it. But this is super stupid, because it just doesn't help. So if you notice that you're having difficulties sticking to a plan, like having a new habit or a new diet or whatever it is, what is best is to try to really forgive yourself and look at your past and think, okay, it's not my fault if I'm like that, but now I'm just gonna look at that and try to see how I can solve this, and try to have a strategy for it. Try to don't try to change your life like just with your willpower, because this doesn't work either. It's quite hard. Um, Another one would be yeah, I mean, be proud of your past also. If you had if you had a lot of negative events in your past, be proud of that, because I think that it makes who we are now. I mean, that's just obvious. But uh, so this is a little bit the same. Like, it's counterproductive to look at the past and judge yourself because of your past. And also, I think that the reason why we have certain experiences is because we can learn lessons from them. And so I had like really a shitty past. I mean, I didn't have a nice youth. And now I'm super happy that I had that. So I mean, now, first off, like, every day is the best day of my life, because my youth was so shitty that it could have gotten way worse. I mean, it wasn't like hell, but every day that I live right now is so fucking better than than maybe 1 year, 2 years, and like 10 years ago. It's like it's 10 times better. So you can look at it like that. It can only get better if you had a shitty past and you learned lessons and now you can change things. So it's all right. What else is there in order to respect yourself more? Do things when you want them to do and don't wait too long. Like, honor more your desires and your urges to do things rather than forcing yourself to do stuff that's not necessarily very important. And I mean, this is like if you have the choice, but we always have the choice. And if you have the choice, try to do things that you like more and more when you want it, and stop thinking too much about the consequences. So obviously this is like, it depends what we're talking about, but for example, just like going for a walk or going in town or calling someone, just I know that I always used to wait so long in order, like, before I would do something. And the other day I was thinking about my grandparents, for example, and I was like, oh, it would be nice, actually it would be really nice if I called them. And I was like, no, I know. I felt resistance, actually. This is the funny thing, because like, there's not wanting to do something because you don't care, and then it's all right. But there's also the feeling resistance, and this is not the same. Like, this is another topic, actually. But in the end, I mean, I called my grandparents. What I mean is that sometimes we wait so long in order to do stuff because we think that we just have no time. We don't have time to do them. And yeah, I think it's not true. We can change our life in one day. It's just we don't do it because we're too lazy. That's it. And then there's also there's one that's like quite important. It's like, don't apologize too much either. Like, don't feel bad for people as long as you don't hurt them and as long as you take decisions that concern you. It's like saying no. We should never feel bad about saying no to someone, for example, who wants to hang out with us, because it's your life. It's yours to say no. Imagine you were that person. Would you really be angry if the person you want to hang out with said no? No, it's her right. I mean, you don't control her life, and that person is not your slave. You're not the one choosing whether she will hang out with you or not. So this is an example, but there are many examples, and now I don't apologize anymore when I know that I'm taking a decision that's really mine to take and that has no consequence on the other person. And this is important because this like always apologizing, always saying, oh, excuse me for, I don't know, like random stuff. I find it actually pretty stupid, because I find that it's like the proof or the sign that we want to please others so much. And this is really the kind of paradigm I want to get out of my head, like to please other people. Or right now I could apologize for this video being not very good, but I will never do that. Never will I apologize for that, because I don't care whether you like it or not. It's just like my thing to do that video. I feel good when I do it, and I mean, it won't hurt you if it's bad. I'm not doing anything to you. And so that's why I wouldn't apologize for that. So you can still apologize for other things that are like alright. But I felt like when we're apologizing so much for shitty stuff, then we're getting ourselves down. Yeah. So this will all mixed up, but I hope it helps.